some kits and some builds I've done. Cause model building is supposed to be fun. So push play and away we go. It's time for the Glue Bomb Show. Yeah, it's time for the Glue Bomb Show. Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Hey everybody, Dave Weiss here for the Glue Bomb Show. Well, as you know, I always say model building is supposed to be fun. But this week I was listening to the Model Geeks podcast. If you haven't checked those guys out, you really should. That podcast is a lot of fun. And the question of the week was, is model building fun? And one of the guys flat out said no, which concerned me a little bit. But he wasn't wrong. I mean, later he amended it to sometimes it's not fun. And that's kind of where I am, okay? I am building this mid-engine Corvette from Revell right now. Now, I call the mid-engine Corvette a Commandment 10 car. Because, you know, I'm in ministry, and the 10th commandment is, thou shalt not covet. And every time I see a mid-engine Corvette going down the road, I'll admit it, I start to covet a little bit. So when I saw this kit come out, I knew I had to have it. I knew I had to build it. And I started by putting the engine together. The engine went together like a dream. It was beautiful. And then I built the drivetrain. And the drivetrain was starting to go together really nicely too. And I started to think, man, Revell has upped their game. This is almost Tamiya level. And then I got to building the interior. I just finished trying to put it together. Emphasis on the word trying. Because it was trying. Trying my patience, trying my skills, trying everything. I could not get this thing to go together right to save my life. I finally got it by doing what the Glue Bomb Show would probably do, put too much glue on it. It's at least going to stay together, and I checked, and the body does fit down over the interior. The guys on the Geeks podcast, and by the way, I love that podcast, I'll say it again, have this term that they use for a model that they are not doing well with. They say they're ready to colonize it. And basically what colonizing, I get the idea it's based on a friend named Colin, but I've never gotten the whole story behind that. But basically what happens is he takes the model and he throws it up against the wall. That's where I was starting to get to with this kit. My friend Matt has a channel called Monarch Miracles with his wife Charlotte. During the summer, they do a lot of stuff with monarch butterflies. They can tell you anything you ever needed to know about butterflies. And in the wintertime, they sort of switch to a travel blog. They do a lot of Disney stuff and Auto Train and all kinds of other stuff. It's a really interesting channel. He's a dear friend of mine from church, and so is Charlotte. And Matt always watches the channel. If you're watching, thanks, Matt. And the one thing that he's always said to me is, you should really just do your builds on screen. In other words, set up the camera, do your build on screen. And there are a few channels like that, and I love them. I love watching the HPI guys, for example. They do a fantastic job building a kit. They build the whole thing on screen. They show the painting, they show everything. And when they have it together, it's this beautifully done kit. And that's why I don't build on screen. My building period this morning is part of why I don't build on screen, because every time I put something in place, something else fell out of place. Eventually, I was ready to launch it. It was about to get colonized. But I stuck with it. I was able to save it. But that's why I don't build on screen, because if I started to build on screen and something started popping out like that, and I've got the camera rolling over my head while all this is going on, I would be getting more and more nervous. Now, I still want to try to build on screen, but I'm going to have to find some phenomenal kits to do that first, because when a kit starts going like this, the pressure would kill me. And that's not good because remember, model building is supposed to be fun. But is it fun? Well, I started thinking about this as I'm listening to the podcast, and I was drawn back to my favorite writer, a guy named Andy Andrews. Andy Andrews has written The Traveler's Gift and a bunch of other books, really phenomenal books. I love his writing. But I'm reminded of an interview I heard with him once where he was asked the question, do you like writing? And he basically said, it's not so much that I like writing, it's that I like having written. Now, I'm a writer too, and I know exactly what he's talking about. There's this period of time when you're writing something where it's like, oh, will this please be over soon? But when you get to the end and you hold that book in your hand, it feels pretty good. And I think it's the same way with model building. Sometimes it's fun. I can lose hours building models if I'm not careful. I can have such a great time with it. And then there are other times where you just want to colonize that thing. And to be honest with you, if it wasn't for the fact that models are really expensive, a couple of these would have gotten colonized over the years. But when they're done, and you hold them in your hand and you put them on the shelf and they look good, it feels all right. And you start to want to dig in again, because let's face it, somebody's always bringing something cool out, and you always want to try the next one. I love model building, folks, I really do. And model building is supposed to be fun. And most of the time, it is. But occasionally, it's like the rest of life. You go through it to get to the other side. You struggle through the process to get to the finished product. Life's like that sometimes, right? We have these tough times where things don't go according to plan, where things are going really badly, and you're in a trial and you don't quite know what to do. So what do? You press on. You keep going. You don't throw it up against the wall because you know somewhere in your heart that would be counterproductive. So instead, you glue the next part, you wait for it to dry, you glue the next one, and so on and so on and so on, until despite the struggle, you have something in your hands that you're at least somewhat pleased with. Guys, don't give up in the middle of the struggle. And don't throw it against a wall. Finish it. Finish it. Learn every lesson you can from it. And then move on. Folks, sometimes in model building and in life, the way out is through. You have to go through. So keep going. And in the times when it's not fun, remind yourself model building is supposed to be fun. And guess what, guys? Life is supposed to be good too. Get yourself through the parts that aren't, knowing it will be good again. Take care, guys. Have a great day.